The 5-Second Rule, written by Mel Robbins, narrated by Mel Robbins.
The power of you. Today, something incredible is going to happen. A woman will quit her job because she truly hates it. She's scared, but she'll do it anyway. A man will call off his wedding knowing he'll be hated for it. A 56-year-old veterinarian will start her first business. An app developer will launch her first product, and a 15-year-old will start writing his first cookbook. A banker will apply for an executive role that she's always wanted. She doesn't feel 100% qualified, but that's not going to stop her from throwing her hat in the ring. And a man in a bar will leave the safety of his friends to walk across the room to approach someone he finds attractive. Initially, he'll feel like he's dying inside, but it will turn out way better than he anticipated. They know they might fail or fall flat on their faces, but they do it anyway. They push themselves forward despite the feelings that scream no. They feel afraid, but they still move. The question is why? The answer is simple. They know the secret to greatness. When your heart speaks, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. They also know the alternative, and it's terrifying, missing out on all that you're meant to become, living your life on autopilot and swimming right past all the magic, opportunity, and joy that your life has to offer. And the greatest risk of all? Dying before you've actually pushed yourself to live. After a high-stress week at work, Catherine wanted to just kick back and feel the buzz of a well-deserved drink and not deal. But she now knows the 5-second rule. Here's what she wrote. This Friday, while driving home, all I could think about was the 5-second rule and the idea that you have to push your way through certain situations to get unstuck. I have a significant commute, so I got some good thinking time in. The industry I work in is very high stress, very deadline-oriented. My hours are oddball. I am out of work by 2 in the afternoon. So on this Friday, before a holiday, I would usually go meet friends at a local pub, have a few drinks, and bitch and moan about the week. Lately, I've felt as though the weekly bitch session has become nothing but an excuse for a brain numb. I feel as though I'm avoiding my life and hiding behind Bombay Sapphire. Although delicious and the nectar of the gods, it's not a good place to hide and seek. While getting off the exit that would bring me to the pub, I started laughing. So this is what it means to push through. And no, I do not feel like it. I realized what you said was 100% on. No, I did not feel like going home, looking at my finances, dealing with my who cares attitude about how I live. I wanted to kick back, feel the buzz of a well-deserved drink and not deal. But I did. I saw all the familiar cars in the parking lot and I drove by. Trust me, I white-knuckled that drive. However small that drive was, it felt like a victory. I came home and turned on my laptop, looked at my finances, made a map. You know, she said, however small that drive was, it felt like a victory. And it truly was. In Minnesota, Kelly has made a heart-first 5-second decision after years of dreaming about it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, she's out of her head and she's decided to move to France. And here's what's cool. Now that she's decided, the fear has disappeared. In London, England, Steve was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. He was thinking about ending his life as he rode on a ferry. He was standing next to a railing, and his instincts fired up, told him to get help. The 5-second rule kicked in. He moved away from the railing and walked toward a steward working on the ferry. As he wrote, "You saved my life today. I was on the point of committing suicide. I was going to jump off a ferry." The 5-second rule kicked in. It took the lowest moment of his life to admit just how lost in depression he had become. But in less than 5 seconds, he 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and discovered that he still had the courage to save his life. Yes, you can move mountains. Whatever is happening right now, this is it. This is your life, and it's not going to begin again. You can't change the past, but in 5 seconds, you can change your future. That is the power of the 5-second rule. When your heart speaks, honor it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. One moment of courage can change your day. One day can change your life, and your life can change the world. I want to remind you of a fact. There is greatness in you. The time to reveal it is right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and physically move before your brain kills it. From the moment you have an instinct that could change your life, you only have 5 seconds before your brain will shut it down. Chapter 1, 5 seconds to change your life. You change your life one 5-second decision at a time. It's a fact, and it's the only way you change. It is the secret to changing anything. Now, once you learn the rule, you can start using it immediately. Here's the cool part. Once you use it, it's going to be there for you whenever you need it. It wakes up the inner genius, leader, rock star, athlete, artist, and change agent that's inside of you. When you first learn the rule, you'll likely start using it to stick to your goals. You might use the rule to push yourself to get to the gym like Margaret does when she isn't feeling it. Or you may use the rule to become more influential at work. You're going to be inspired by people who are finding the courage to stop thinking and start putting their ideas into action. Every single day, you and I face moments that are difficult, uncertain, or scary. Life requires courage, and that is exactly what the rule will help you discover, the courage to become your greatest self. You've got greatness inside of you. Even at your lowest point, greatness is there. The rule's going to give you both the clarity to hear that greatness and the courage to act on it. Using the rule, I've discovered the courage to do things that I'd spent years thinking about and making excuses for. Only through action was I able to unlock the power inside of myself to become the person that I've always wanted to be. I've built real confidence, and so can you, by learning how to honor my instincts with action so that they come to life in the real world. And each and every time you use it, you take one step closer to being the person you're truly meant to be. Look, I've only changed from the kind of person who just thinks about my ideas to having the confidence to share, act on, and pursue my ideas because of the rule. And if you use the 5-second rule consistently, you're going to start to honor your instincts with action too. The exact same transformation that I've experienced will absolutely happen to you. Once you start using the rule to push yourself out of your head and into action, you're going to be astonished by how easy it is to make a 5-second decision that changes everything. 5-second decisions. That's right. That is the secret to changing anything. The ability to make a 5-second decision. By the time you and I are finished with this book, it will be undeniable that you are making decisions 5 seconds at a time that impact everything. Change comes down to the courage that you need every day to make 5-second decisions. That's the answer. 5-second decisions. You are one decision away from a completely different life. Just one. You're going to love what you're about to learn. You're not only going to wake up and realize just how much you've held yourself back, you will also awaken the power that's been inside of you all along. If you look back on your life and reflect on some of the most important moments, I guarantee you've made a life-changing decision purely on instinct. In 5 seconds flat, you've made what I call a heart-first decision. That's when you ignore your fears and you let your courage and your confidence speak for you. 5 seconds of courage? Boy, it makes all the difference. When you act with courage, your brain is not involved. Your heart speaks first and you listen. The reason why it's so damn powerful is the rule is going to teach you how to make these heart-first decisions. It's absolutely incredible how awe-inspiring and how easy things become when you do. Doing the work to improve your life is simple. You can do it. And it's work you want to do because it's the most important work that there is. It's the work of learning how to love yourself and trust yourself enough to stop waiting and to start leaning into all the magic, opportunity, and joy that your life, work, and relationships have to offer. You see, your brain and your body, it's sending you signals all day long. Your brain, your body, it's trying to get you to wake up, to pay attention. When you start to learn how to pay attention to your instincts, and then you also learn how to honor them with deliberate action, it changes your life. When you set a goal to do something, your brain gets on board. Your brain opens up a task list. No joke. Whenever you're near things that can help you achieve these goals that you set for yourself, your brain is going to fire up your instincts and signal you anytime you're near something that can help you. Let's say you got a goal to get healthier, okay? A lot of us have a goal. I want to become healthier, lose a little weight, get in better shape. When you walk past a gym, your prefrontal cortex lights up because you're near something related to getting healthy. As you pass that gym, you're going to subconsciously feel like you should exercise. That's an instinct that's been fired up from your brain that is signaling you to act on a goal. That's your inner wisdom, and it is so unbelievably important that you learn how to pay attention to it, no matter how small or silly those instincts may seem. Now, see, one of the things that I've learned using the 5-second rule for more than 7 years is that when it comes to your goals, when it comes to your dreams, when it comes to changing your life, your inner wisdom is a genius. Your goal-related impulses, urges, instincts, they are there to guide you, and you have got to learn to bet on them. When it comes to change, innovation, goals, and dreams, you've got to bet on yourself. And that bet starts with hearing the instincts to change and honoring it with action. Thinking about it alone, not going to make it happen. The 5-second rule, here's the definition. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move, or your brain will stop you. Chapter 3, what you can expect when you use it. Now, it turns out that when you count backwards, you mentally shift the gears in your mind. You interrupt your default thinking and you do what psychologists call assert control. The counting distracts you from your excuses and focuses your mind on moving in a new direction. When you physically move instead of stopping to think, your physiology changes and then your mind falls in line behind your body. See, there's this myth in pop culture. There's a myth that you have to be motivated. I think it's complete garbage. I want you to understand something. There are always going to be things in your life that you hate doing. You still got to do them. This rule is going to be incredible in helping you push yourself to do the things you just don't feel like doing. Had never, ever even noticed it. This 5-second window between my instincts to change and my mind screwing me over. When you see this 5-second window, everything is going to change. The problem will become very clear. I was holding myself back 5 seconds at a time. In 5 seconds, either I could make a decision to push myself forward or my excuses and my fears and procrastination would hold me back. That's it. That's life. It literally comes down to that insight. We're done. The book is over. That's all you need to know. I'm just kidding, but it really is that simple. I made a simple promise to myself. I want you to make this promise to you. If I knew that I should do something that could change me for the better, I promised myself that I would use the rule to push myself to do it regardless of how I felt. I want you to do the same thing. I started using the rule to force myself. I'm using that word on purpose. Force myself to not only get up early, but to get to the gym, to look for a job, to drink less, to be a better parent, to be a better spouse. If I started to feel too tired to exercise, I would 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push myself out the door. If I started to pour a second drink that I knew I shouldn't have, I'd 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I would put down the bottle of bourbon and I would turn and walk away. If I felt myself like getting bitchy, you know when you do that, where you like have that yee rise up in you, you can feel it coming. I'd 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, self-monitor, correct my tone, make myself be kinder. If I caught myself procrastinating, you know that thing you do, where you know you have stuff you got to do. We all procrastinate. I'd 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'd sit down and I'd start working on my resume. What I discovered using the rule, even in just those first few days, when you push yourself to take simple actions, it creates a chain reaction in your confidence and in your productivity. By pushing yourself to take simple steps, by pushing yourself to move forward, you create momentum and you start to experience a sense of freedom and power that's really hard to describe. When Rebecca used the rule to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and pushed herself to make small moves forward, she's breaking out of mental jail. She's no longer trapped in her head. She's no longer trapped by analysis. She's pushing herself out of her thoughts and into action. The way she describes it, Rebecca, she wrote on Twitter, I feel free for the first time in 47 years. I can relate to that. The more that you believe that you are in control of your life, your actions, and your future, that the control is in you, the happier and the more successful you're going to become. And there's only one thing after 50 years of psychological research, only one thing that is guaranteed to increase your personal feelings of control over your life. It's a term called a bias toward action. It means you become the kind of person that stops freaking thinking about everything and you start pushing yourself to take action. Motivation, it's a myth. I don't know when we all bought into the idea that in order to change, you got to feel motivated to act. It's complete garbage. Because here's the truth. The moment it's time for you to act, the moment it's time to go to the gym, the moment it's time to do your presentation, the moment it's time to ask for that raise, do you feel motivated? No. In fact, you don't feel like doing anything at all. You think that's the worst idea in the world. You feel the opposite of motivated. If you want to improve your life, you got to get off your ass. That's what you got to do. And in my world, I call that the power of a push. One of the reasons why the 5-second rule is so unbelievably empowering from the moment you first start using it is because it turns you into the kind of person who stops talking and starts moving. It turns you into the kind of person who operates with a bias toward action. If you tend to overthink every move, you're about to discover the energy and the confidence to stop thinking and start moving. Using the 5-second rule is going to strengthen your belief that you do have the ability to control your own fate. And you know how it does it? Because it pushes you to prove it to yourself one move at a time. Donna's another example of what happens when you learn about the rule. Just like I was wrong about this stupid thing, boy, oh boy, was she wrong. She's changed just about everything in her life and business. She writes in this post that she posted on Facebook, my boss mentor asked me to be a salon mentor. I was one of the newest in the salon, yet I was given the opportunity to coach on new products to our team members. I 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And now I'm coaching with confidence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Don't be afraid to ask the universe for what you want in life. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Whenever I'm faced with, just go. My career has become so much more with making myself step up to the ledge boldly. Even though in the beginning I felt like I tripped over the edge or praying someone would help pull me over, I've realized the more times I step boldly and don't say no to opportunities, the more my confidence is built and the easier it is to say yes to my future. Only we can hold ourselves back. It's amazing to see how horribly I held myself hostage out of fear and where I am today. As you use the rule more and more, you are going to feel just like Donna does. You're going to feel courage. You're going to get in touch with your confidence and your pride and your sense of control as you push yourself to do the small things that bring your greatness to the surface. You know, that rule has that effect. I often tell people it's going to haunt you. And we see people use that words. Hey, Mel, this thing's haunting me in a really good way. And that's because you're going to realize that, wow, you've been sleepwalking through life for a long time. The rule doesn't make these things easy. It makes them happen. I used 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to push myself out of my head and to start reaching out to old clients that I used to coach so that I could rev up the referral engine, even though I didn't feel successful enough to go back to doing that again. There's nothing more powerful than the feeling of confidence and pride that you gain in yourself when you realize you can rely on yourself and you can keep trudging forward and face whatever challenges life throws at you head on. Ultimately, the rule gives you an awareness and power and control over both your positive and your negative thoughts. What is the step-by-step experience of somebody that faces change? What does that look like? And what can we learn from it? And, you know, as I deconstructed the moment of change, I uncovered something fundamental about how you and I are wired, every one of us. Right before you're about to do something that feels difficult, scary, or uncertain, you know what you do? You hesitate. Hesitation, kiss of death. That's right. Hesitation. A moment of hesitation is a kiss of death. You might just hesitate for a nanosecond. That's all it takes. That one small hesitation triggers a mental system that is designed, made to, engineered to stop you. And guess how fast it happens? That's right. 5 seconds. You've noticed this. Fear, self-doubt, it can take over your head and start making up excuses immediately. We all do it. We hold ourselves back in the smallest, mundane moments every single day, and it impacts everything. But here's the cool part. Hesitation. We all do it, right? We all stop. We all think, oh, I don't know. Look, if you are about to do something that is permanent, like a tattoo, hesitate for a second. If you're about to sign a contract or get married, do something that requires thinking, hesitate all damn day. I don't care. I'm talking about the tiny stuff. Do you pick up the phone? Do you go to the gym? Do you say, I love you? Do you return the text? Do you start writing in the book? All the things that could expand your life. Do you stop and hesitate on the little stuff? That's the habit we gotta break. That's the habit that we need to get rid of. We gotta build in you the habit of taking some kind of action. Because when you become the kind of person that stops hesitating and starts making small moves forward, you're going to be astonished how fast your life changes. That's what Keith discovered. So Keith learned the 5-second rule at this massive RE/MAX conference that I spoke at. Let me tell you what this guy has done in 1 year. Listen to this. Quote, "You've inspired me to do extraordinary things. I just had to get out of my own way and take action. I've achieved unbelievable success. I've opened 3 offices, recruited more than 50 agents in little old Arkansas. No more hesitation, no more procrastination. I take some kind of action, and it helps me launch to my goal. A large task suddenly becomes manageable. The hardest part is starting. Thank you for sharing your story." You see, I want you to get something from Keith. The hardest part is starting. I want you to also understand that when you get out of your own way and you become the kind of person that pushes yourself forward, it is incredible what happens. Because here's the deal. It's not the big stuff that defines your life. It's the little ones. Within 5 seconds of stopping to think, you're going to decide not to do anything. And over time, that builds. And when you repeat that pattern of hesitating, worrying, thinking, doubting, overthinking, analyzing, it now becomes a habit. And that's bad and depressing, but there's also some good news. And the good news is that if worrying, thinking, doubting, hesitating are just habits, you can use science to break them. I want to say something to you. You're not a worrier. You have a habit of worrying. Big difference. You're not a procrastinator. You have a habit of procrastinating. Big difference. When you separate these behaviors from your identity and you look at them for what they are, just habits, just shit you do that you don't even think about, you have the power to break them. And you're going to use the 5-second rule to do it. And we're going to teach you how. The rule will work every single time you use it. That's right. Every single time you use this rule, it will work, but you got to use it. It's a tool. If you stop using it, fear and uncertainty, it's going to creep back in and take control of your decisions. And if that happens, no problem. Just use the 5-second rule again, just like I did this morning in bed. Hey, I know better. I know I should spring out of bed like a rocket. That still doesn't make it easy. What do I need to do? Simple. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Activate my prefrontal cortex, push my butt out of bed. Boom, here we go. We're on our way. Starting is the hardest part. When you use the rule, you're going to come face to face with excuses, habits, feelings, insecurities, fears, all these things that hold you back. You're going to see the bullshit that you've put yourself through every single day, how often you've given up on yourself. And you're also going to come face to face with how much precious time you've wasted, waiting to feel ready to change. Using 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the waiting ends, like right now. And you're going to be amazed by how much joy and freedom you feel by making 5-second decisions. Every phase of your life and career will require a different you. Who does your life require right now? Using the rule, you can become the person you're meant to become in this phase of your life. So what do you say we dig into the basics of the rule so you can actually start using it right now? Chapter 4, Why the Rule Works. Using the rule is very simple. Whenever you feel an instinct fire up to act on a goal or a commitment, or the moment that you feel yourself hesitate on doing something that you know you should do, that's when you use the rule. You're going to start by counting to yourself, okay? Backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the counting is going to help you focus on the goal or the commitment, and it's going to distract you from your worries, your thoughts, and the fears that occur in your mind. And as soon as you reach 1, then you move. That's it. It's really that simple. But I want to hammer it again one more time because it's such an important tool for you to master. Anytime there's something you know that you should do, but you feel uncertain, afraid, or overwhelmed, I want you to take control by counting backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The counting is going to quiet your mind. It's going to awaken your prefrontal cortex. Then move. Counting and moving are actions. By teaching yourself to take action when normally you would stop and think, you create remarkable change. Every single one of these 5-second rules, they have something in common. They require you to move within a 5-second window. Physical movement, it is the most important part of the rule because when you move physically, your physiology changes, and that means your mind is going to follow along with it. Perhaps the name's not only apropos, it's actually perfect because it references the other 5-second windows in life, and that just makes the rule feel so much more familiar, universal, and true. I know you're tired. Just do it. I know you're afraid. Just do it. I know you don't feel like it. Just do it. Nike's tagline is pushing you to move past the doubt and get in the game. Nike knows that there's greatness inside of you. And it's on the other side of your excuses. And it resonates so profoundly because every single one of us, even Olympic athletes, we all need a push. And that's where the 5-second rule comes in. The rule is how you push yourself when there's no coach, no competitor, no parent, no screaming fan or teammate there to push you. With the rule, you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you push yourself. It's how you just do it when you're alone. What I've noticed personally is that the longer that I wait between my initial impulse to act and physically moving, the louder and louder and louder and more convincing my excuses get, and the harder it becomes to force myself to move. That's exactly what so many of you have found when you post on social media about the 5-second rule. Angela wrote exactly that those 5-second decisions quickly turn into 50 seconds and then 500 seconds when the fear is deeper. So she actually treats the 5-second rule as if it's a window of time during which her brain will self-destruct at 0. If it works for you to shorten or lengthen the window, I want you to do that. Personalize the rules so that it works for you. That is how the system works, you guys. That's how your brain defeats you. The longer you think about something, the lower your urge to act is going to become. We are amazing at fooling ourselves into staying exactly where we are. As soon as that impulse to act kicks in, you're going to start rationalizing it away. That's why you've got to move even faster, so you can break free of your excuses before you get trapped in them. How do you break free? It's simple. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 will awaken your prefrontal cortex. It'll shut off your excuses and it'll prompt you to act. A lot of people write and ask, well, what can I use the 5-second rule for? And the fact is that over the years, since we've heard from so many people around the world that are using it, there are literally thousands of specific examples. We cover a lot of them in this book, but there are 3 general categories for how you can use it. The first is you can use it to change your behavior. You can use the 5-second rule to push yourself to create new habits, to pull yourself away from destructive habits, and to master the skills of self-monitoring and self-control so that you can be more intentional and effective in your relationships with yourself and with others. Second way that you can use the rule. You can use the rule to find the courage that you need every single day in your work, in your relationships, and in your life. Using the rule, you're going to discover the courage that you need to do things that are new, scary, or uncertain. The rule will quiet your self-doubt and help you build the confidence as you push yourself to pursue your passions, share your ideas, volunteer for projects, create your art, and become a better leader. And finally, you can use the rule for mind control. So one of the things that I find to be the most amazing about the rule is how effective it is in stopping the barrage of negative thoughts and endless worries that weigh you down. You can also break the habit of anxiety and beat any fear. When you take control of your mind, you'll be able to think about things that bring you joy instead of focusing on the negative. And that, in my opinion, is the single most powerful way that you're going to learn how to use this rule. A lot of people ask the question after using the rule and discovering just how powerful the countdown trick, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then push, go, is. Why is it that something so simple works? It's a great question. And the reason why such a simple rule works is because it's so simple. There are all kinds of tricky ways your brain kills your urge to act. Some of my most favorite researchers, professors, and thinkers have written bestsellers and delivered epic TED Talks detailing how our own minds betray us in the seemingly endless lists of tricks and cognitive biases. Everything from paradox of choice to the psychological immune system. We've already mentioned the spotlight effect. What all these great researchers has taught me is that the moment you want to change, break a habit, do something hard or scary, your brain goes to work to stop you. Basically, your mind has one trick. It stops you and makes you think things through. And the moment you get tricked into thinking things through, you're going to get trapped by your thoughts. Your mind has a million ways to talk you out of acting once you start thinking. That's the neurological reason why it's so hard to change. You know, as I mentioned in chapter 1, change requires you to do things that are uncertain, scary, hard, difficult. Your brain, by design, will not let you do things that are scary, uncertain, difficult, or hard. The second that your brain gets wind of the fact that you're hesitating to do something that's a little scary or a little uncertain or feels a little hard, are you kidding me? It's going to go into overdrive and do whatever it can to talk you out of it because it's designed to stop you from that stuff. It's part of your hard wiring, and it happens really, really fast. That's why you've got to act even faster to beat it. How is it that you stop yourself? Well, you stop and you think. You hesitate. You lock yourself in mental jail. That moment of hesitation is a killer. You see, hesitation sends a stress signal to your brain. It's like a red flag that signals your mind that something must be up. And then your brain goes into a protection mode. That's how it is that we're all wired to fail. That's why it is that you feel like you're your own worst enemy at times. And I want you to think about this for a minute. You don't hesitate all the time. I mean, you don't hesitate when you pour a cup of coffee, right? You don't hesitate when you pull your jeans on. You don't hesitate when you turn on the TV. You don't hesitate when you call your best friend. You don't think at all. You just have an instinct. You pick up the phone, you call your friend. You have an instinct to watch TV. You pick up the remote, you turn it on. But when you hesitate just before making a sales call or texting someone back, it makes your brain think that something must be wrong. The longer you think about that sales call, the less likely you'll make it. And most of us don't even realize how often we hesitate because we've done it so often that it's become a habit. Here's how Tim described it after using the rule. He said, quote, honestly, I think the rule is powerful simply because keeping it on the top of your thoughts allows you to process and start on activities you'd normally gloss over and ignore. I also keep saying, what the hell? I'm leaning into this. So it is powerful because it helps you break the formally embedded thought patterns about doing things, and it allows me anyway to safely go for it. Seriously, why was I afraid of doing some of the things I'm doing now? It was never like anything I did or didn't do was going to end the world. He's right. But when you get trapped in a mental jail, you convince yourself that this is going to end the world. But what you will soon learn is that this moment of hesitation, when you stop and think, it can also be used to your advantage. Every single time you catch yourself hesitating, that is a signal. It's a push moment. The 5-second window, the clock, it has started counting. It is time to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and push yourself forward. Seeing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 can serve as a vivid reminder of the rule and its importance. A lot of people, Art being one of them, has taken the rule even out of the tool status and cut out the numbers 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, put them up on his office wall, and it's changed his life and his productivity at work by seeing that and being reminded of it in a really important way. Another question that we get from people that first start using the rule is, can the 5-second rule create lasting behavior change too? The answer, absolutely. The rule is not only going to beat your brain's operating system and help you win the battle in the moment, but you know what else? Over time, as you repeat the rule, what's super cool is that you're going to start destroying the negative system in your brain altogether. Now, we've talked a little bit about habits. We've been kind of hinting at it, but let me dig into it just a little bit here. One of the things that most of us don't realize is that the patterns of thinking, like worrying, self-doubt, and fear, they're just habits. Habits are nothing more than things that you repeat without even thinking about it. If everything that you do to sabotage your happiness is a habit, that can be good news. I mean, it kind of stinks right now, but it's actually pretty darn simple to fix it because you can follow the latest research and break the habits of, check this out, you can break the habit of waiting, you can break the habit of doubting yourself, you can break your habit of staying silent, you can break the habit of feeling insecure, you can break your habit of avoiding confrontation, of worrying, and of overthinking. In order to change any bad habit, all you got to do is replace the behavior pattern that you repeat. The 5-second rule and its countdown trick, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. It's going to become your new behavior pattern for every single thing that you do that holds you back. Instead of holding yourself back or procrastinating or worrying, you're going to replace it with the new behavior, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. The countdown is what researchers of habits refer to as a starting ritual. Starting rituals are critical for breaking your bad habits because they interrupt the pattern and they trigger positive new behaviors. When you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you not only awaken your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain that you need active so you can change and focus, but it also interrupts your bad behavior and distracts you from the garbage excuses in your head. If you master the rule, you will reprogram your mind. You can change absolutely everything. Your habits, your mindset, your personality, they are flexible. And the implications of this for your life, they are thrilling. You can change your mental settings, and you can do it 1 5-second decision at a time. You can change your habits, and you can do it 1 5-second decision at a time. And those small decisions, guess what? They add up to major changes in who you are, what you feel, and how you live. The woman that I was 7 years ago, gone. Absolutely gone. I also told you that every phase of your life requires a different you. If you change your decisions, you'll change your life. And what's going to change your decisions more than anything? A little bit of courage. Chapter 5. Everyday life is full of moments that are scary, uncertain, and difficult. And facing these moments and unlocking the opportunity, magic, and joy in your life, it requires tremendous courage. Courage is precisely what the 5-second rule is going to give you. Rosa Parks didn't hesitate or think it through. It happened so fast she just listened to her instincts. Her instincts were signaling her, you're not being treated right. And she pushed herself to follow him. Now, since she didn't hesitate, there was no time to talk herself out of it, was there? Imagine if she had stopped and thought about it. She didn't. Dr. King was pushed into the spotlight by his peers. He was nominated, and he didn't stop and think. Rosa pushed herself. They both experienced the power of a push. It's a moment when your instincts, your values, and your goals align, and you move so quickly, you don't have time or reason to stop yourself. Your heart speaks. You don't think. You listen to what your heart tells you to do. Greatness, it's not a personality trait. It's inside all of us. It's inside of you. Probably hasn't occurred to you either what great things you might accomplish and be capable of at work or in your lifetime. Courage is a push, the kind of push we give ourselves when we stand up, speak up, show up, go first, raise our hand, or do whatever feels hard, scary, or uncertain. Do not look at your heroes in history and business and art and music and assume that somehow they're different than you. It's not true. Courage is a birthright. It's inside each and every one of us. You were born with it, and you can tap into it anytime you want. It's not a matter of confidence. Courage is not a matter of education or status or personality or profession. It is simply a matter of knowing how to find it when you need it. And when you need it, I guarantee you, you are going to be alone. It's going to be just you sitting there in a meeting at work, standing in your kitchen, riding the subway. You're going to be looking at your phone or thinking about something. And all of a sudden, it's going to happen. Something's going to go down. And your instincts, they're going to come alive. You're going to have this urge to act. Your values, they're going to tell you what you should do. And your feelings, you know what your feelings are going to do? Your feelings are going to scream, no. That is the push moment. You don't have to have the answers. You just have to make a decision in the next 5 seconds. Courage is just a push. When you push yourself, you may not change the world, the laws, or spark a civil rights movement, but I guarantee you'll change something equally as important. You'll change yourself. Chapter 10. Increase productivity. Productivity can be boiled down to one word: focus. There are 2 types of focus you need in order to master productivity. First, the ability to manage distractions so that you can focus moment to moment on the task at hand. And second, the skill of focusing on what's truly important to you in the big picture so you don't waste your day on stupid stuff. Get serious about managing distractions. Look, managing distractions is like following through on health goals. You're never going to feel like it. You just have to make yourself do it. You already know that being addicted to your phone, texting, and answering emails is a distraction, but stopping it can feel impossible. Even though you know that you should turn off pop-up alerts, silence your phone, and stop checking email every 5 minutes, I bet having this knowledge, because we all do, it's not changing your behavior, is it? You're still looking at your emails, you're still answering your pop-ups, you still got the reminders on, and I could spend literally the next 10 hours of this book burying your ass with research about how bad this is. And guess what? That's not going to change your behavior either. This is where the 5-second rule comes into play. You don't have to want to do it. You just have to push yourself to do it. So first things first, can we agree that distractions are not good for you? Seriously. You've got to make a decision that you're going to remove distractions. Interruptions of any sort, an email, a phone call, a text, a pop-up, whatever it may be, they are a kiss of death for your productivity. Checking email. Do you know why checking email is such an addictive thing? The addictive quality of email is the exact same psychological makeup as the addictive quality of pulling a slot machine lever. Every time you check email, you surf the web, you check out YouTube, you fiddle around with something, you're not paying attention to what's important. So I cannot stress this enough. You got to make a decision. Hey, during those time blocks where I got to concentrate, I got to remove the distractions. Then, and this sounds so dumb to even have to say it, the next step is you got to remove them. I'm not claiming this is rocket science. I'm also not going to tell you that it's easy. I think sometimes the simplest things in life are the hardest things to do. But I promise you that if you use the 5-second rule, you'll actually do it. When you start to remove distractions and you're able to focus on the moment-to-moment things that actually matter, you'll have no idea how much this is going to help. You can change your life in 5 seconds. And that's because in 5 seconds, you can make a decision. And decisions have the power to change everything. Distractions bog you down, whether they're physical or they're technological. So if you find yourself getting distracted like Kendall was by social media, or me by the apps and the notifications on my phone, or Sarah by her surroundings, that moment of awareness, I want you to grab onto it. That is a moment of power. It's a moment when you wake up, and now it's time to shake up your environment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Remove the distraction. It really is that simple. And the rewards are so powerful. Now, the harder and more important thing to master after you kind of get rid of these surface level distractions is I want you to master the second type of focus, and that's big picture focus. There's one thing that I've used the 5-second rule to do that has increased my big picture focus like nothing else. And that, my friends, is being a boss about my mornings. From now on, I want you to own your mornings. Taking control of your mornings is a game changer for productivity. The way I did it was simple. I created a morning routine, and it's a routine that makes me feel like $1,000,000. I am not a morning person, but I am a boss of my mornings. Big difference. 42% more likely for you to stick to your goals if you write them down. Having them written in my planner means I'm going to see them. Now, before you pick up your phone, there's a final thing I want you to do. This is what I do every morning. Plan your quitting time. When are you going to stop working today? What time are you going to stop working? You're going to put down your phone. You're going to stop answering work emails. You don't have to fully unplug. I would never expect you to do that. But at what time are you going to stop working so that you can actually be a human being, enjoy yourself? It is so important that you do this. And having a deadline does 2 really important things. Number 1, it's going to make you way more intentional with the time that you have. And number 2, it's going to make you, believe it or not, more productive. There's a principle called Parkinson's Law. And here's how that principle goes. Work expands to whatever time that you give it. So I want you to give your work day a deadline. And a deadline is really important for stamina and for mental health. There are plenty of times where I've set a deadline in the morning and 8:30 rolls around. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not done. And I got a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn off the computer, shut it down, stop working. And it happens more often than I'd like to admit that I have to do that. But setting a deadline has been a really cool concept that has changed things for me. Life has a way of just creeping in and pulling you in a different direction. If I notice that I've, lost track during the day or I'm getting distracted, that's a moment of power. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flip open my cheapo day planner, take a look at what I wrote down, and I get back on track. It's been a real game changer. Guess what? Now it's your turn to change your game. Now let's get to part 3 of the book. Courage changes your behavior. How to become the most productive person you know. If you want to adopt any positive new habit, all you have to do, I'm not kidding, is use the rule to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and push yourself to do whatever you need to do to adopt that positive new habit. You can use the rule to pull yourself away from destructive behavior like gambling, drinking, drugs, or impulsive behavior like micromanaging your team, snapping in frustration, and binge watching too many TV shows. All you need to do is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in order to assert control, shift your focus away from the destructive or impulsive behavior, and then turn and walk away from it. Like all change, it is simple, but it's not going to be easy. But the rule will help you get it done. Chapter 9, improve your health. Now here's the truth about improving your health. Thinking about being healthier, not going to make you healthier. There's no getting around this. When it comes to improving your health, you are going to have to take action. Why is it that getting healthy is so hard? Why? I mean, why are so many of us out of weight and out of shape and we know what we should do, but we don't do it? The answer is simple. It's your feelings. The second you consider how you feel about eating healthy for the next 113 days, you're going to convince yourself not to do it. The moment that you scan today's CrossFit workout and you consider how you feel about doing 3 sets of 45 burpees with a bunch of people in a parking lot while it's raining outside, are you going to feel like walking out the door? Of course not. And here's the rub. We know in our heads that sticking to a diet will make you happy. We also know that if you were to push yourself out the door and get yourself to CrossFit, we know that you would absolutely love the fact that you did it. The moment that you accept the fact that you just want to do the things that feel easy, you're going to realize something. Getting healthy, staying in shape, it's simple. Here's the rule. You're never going to feel like it. You have to do it anyway. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Look, blowing off the gym, hitting the In-N-Out burger drive-thru, wasting time on Facebook. I do it too. It's a hell of a lot easier than hyperventilating in a spin class or cutting out sugar from your diet. That's why we do it. It's easier. But if you want to lose weight, follow a diet, and regularly exercise, there's only one thing you must do. You have to stop considering how you feel. The truth is, your feelings don't matter. I don't give a shit how you feel. The only thing that matters is what you do. You need to get this in your brain. Human beings, you, me, everyone you know, we are all wired the same way. We're wired to do things that feel easy. We are wired to avoid things that feel hard. Exercise, we think it's physical. It's 100% mental. If you stay in your head and you consider how you feel about it, you're never going to get out the door and do it. But if you push yourself, your body will go first and then your mind will fall in line. That's why the 5-second rule is game-changing for your health. Here's how you're going to use it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Stop complaining, go to the gym. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Put down the donut and eat grilled chicken breast. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Walk away from the bakery. Look, I know. You walk past a bakery, if they're busy baking croissants or bread or something, it smells like mermaids are singing to you in there. It's amazingly tantalizing. I feel it too. If you made a promise to yourself that you were not going to eat that stuff, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, despite how much you want to walk in there and push forward, move away from it. That is the only way you stick to it. You may feel sorry for yourself. You may feel defeated, but there are people all over the world who are fatter, lazier, and way more out of shape than you are right now. And they 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and change themselves into a totally different human being. It goes back to the chapter where we talked about what are you waiting for? We're all waiting for the right time to start. How much time have you already wasted thinking about getting into shape, into the body that would make you proud? So it's all about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. It works every single day. It really does. Because you are interrupting your feelings, you're interrupting your bad habits, and you are pushing yourself to make the change. When you follow your instincts that are tied to the goals that are important to you, if leading a healthier life is important to you, the way you're going to do that is you're going to be doing it by taking courageous actions every single day. That's the only way that change happens. It takes courage to start something. It takes courage to stick with it. And it definitely takes courage to share it with the world. The reason why you often feel that thing, where you set a goal and you get all super jacked and inspired and you can't wait to take this on. And then what happens right after, this can happen so quickly, is suddenly all this regret just swoops right in because you've just set this huge, huge goal for yourself. You get excited. And then as you come back down to earth, you realize, oh my God, I got a lot to do. this is going to be a lot of work. And you start to realize where you really are and the gap between the person you are right now in this moment, setting goals for yourself, and the person you want to become. It can seem so big that it feels impossible to bridge that gap. I want you to know something. Feeling this way, it's normal. But it becomes a form of self-abuse if you allow those feelings to take over your mind and your actions. It is little actions every single day that will lead to massive changes over time. You know, whenever you do feel yourself slipping, whenever you do feel yourself giving up on yourself, the 5-second rule is always there. At any moment in time, you can take control. All you got to do is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and push yourself forward in a direction that empowers you. That's what it takes. It takes courage to be honest with yourself about what you want. And it takes courage to start. And I'll tell you what, it takes an act of bravery to start again after you've fallen off the wagon and you start to feel like you've given up on yourself. And oftentimes, it's that very first step that's the hardest. You know, if you slip up, if you fall off a wagon, you can get back on track. Slipping up is normal. Having a cheat day is normal. Blowing off the alarm and hitting the snooze button, that's normal. There are going to be days where you just don't feel like it. There are going to be days when you're sick. There are going to be days when things happen. That's life. But always remember that you are 5 seconds away from taking control again. The first step, getting out of bed, is the hardest, but it is so worth it when the pedals start to spin. No matter how many times you've exercised, it is still a struggle every day for him to find the time and find the will to push himself out the door to go train. Even people that are in incredible shape struggle. Getting started is the hardest part. It's the hardest part to push yourself to start because that's when you need to muster up and find activation energy. And it's so worth doing. In fact, there's nothing more worth it than learning to push yourself right past your excuses so you take one step closer to the life, to the body, or the future that you deserve. But you can always 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and push yourself. Improving your health is all about action. Life is about choices. It's about decisions. And I've said over and over in this book as we've been talking that you can always choose how you act. You can't choose how you feel. You can't count on feeling motivated. You can't count on feeling excited. You can't count on feeling brave enough to walk in and get a cancer screening. But you can always choose how you act. If you have goals to get healthier, what you need to do is very straightforward. Pick a plan. Seriously, don't overthink it. Pick a plan. Anything will do. And then it's about getting started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And after that, every single day, it's about continuing to go forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The only thing that you will need to choose after that is choosing each and every day to do it, even though, as Anouk said, you really, really, really don't feel like it. I said that what you need to do is simple. I didn't say it would be easy. I promise you, it will be worth it. Exercise and health comes down to one simple rule. You don't have to feel like it. You just have to do it. Chapter 8, how to start using the rule. Change is simple, not easy. If you fail, guess what? It's because you made a decision to blow off the 5-second rule. If you can change your morning routine, you can change anything. Change requires you to act deliberately, despite how you feel. If you can master that in one area of your life, you can do it in any area that you're trying to improve. And finally, I want you to experience a concept called activation energy and feel how hard it is to really push yourself to do some simple things. The initial amount of energy that's required to push yourself out of bed is a lot higher than the energy you exert once you're up and moving. It's that first bout of energy that's so uncomfortable. When you start to count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it is the beginning of a chain reaction. It not only awakens your prefrontal cortex, but it also gets you ready to make that physical, initial huge push that's required to change. When you get up, the moment the alarm rings, it gives you personal power. I kid you not. This one small act of getting up when the alarm rings, it demonstrates something. It demonstrates that you have the inner strength to do what needs to be done. Plus, as Emma discovered, it's going to give you a much more positive outlook on the day. If you can't get yourself out of bed, you'll never be able to pursue all the other changes that you want to make in your life. It starts right here. If you take that one simple step of taking control of your mornings, you're going to catalyze a chain of events that leads to change everywhere. Tomorrow morning, when that alarm sounds, open your eyes, start counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then throw off the covers, get up, roll out of bed, walk out of your bedroom. That's it. That's it. Start your day, no delay, no pillow over the head, no lingering, no griping, no snooze, no crawling back into bed. I know, it sounds simple, right? Guess again. Here's what you can expect. As soon as that alarm goes off, you're going to think about how you feel about getting up. Remember, it's your feelings that make decisions. You'll think, oh, this stupid wake-up challenge is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm not doing this. Mel Robbins isn't going to know anyway. This is stupid. You're going to feel tired. You're going to convince yourself, oh, I drank way too much last night. I'm going to start this dumb thing tomorrow. That's what you're going to do. I know. I do this same crap to myself. You are going to literally not want to get up. I promise you that. I promise you, you are not going to want to do this. But the 5-second rule is going to help you win the battle with your feelings by giving you something to do. See, normally when you get advice, people give you shit to think about. I'm giving you something to do. This is very different. If you can get up on time, start your day powerfully, plan ahead, think about your goals, and focus on yourself, all before you get bogged down in your daily routine, then you will simply accomplish more. It's a fact. This is the first step to taking control of your life. But the 5-second rule is about something so much more important than waking up on time. It's about waking up the power in you and using it to shake up your life. Chapter 7. You'll never feel like it. If you've ever wondered why it's so hard to make yourself do the things that you know will solve your problems and improve your life, the answer is simple. It's your feelings. None of us realize it, but we make almost every single decision, not with logic, not with our hearts, not based on our goals. We make decisions with our feelings. And our feelings in the moment are almost never, ever aligned with what's best for us. See, study after study after study shows that we opt for what feels good now or what feels easier rather than pushing ourselves to do the things that we know in our hearts we should do. The moment that you realize your feelings are the problem, you now have the ability to beat them. Once you understand the role feelings play and how you make a decision, you, my friend, will be able to beat your feelings every single time. Here's exactly what you need to know. Number 1, you make decisions based on how you feel. Look, we like to think that we use logic or consider our goals when we make decisions, but that's not true. It's our feelings that decide for us 95% of the time. We feel before we think. We feel before we act. You and me, human beings, we are feeling machines that think. We're not thinking machines that feel. We're feeling machines that think. And that's how you ultimately make decisions. Based on how you feel. Every single time you have a decision to make, here's what you do. Subconsciously, you tally all the pros and all the cons, and then you make a gut call based on how you feel. It happens in a nanosecond, and that's why none of us catch it. Let me give you some examples. When you ask yourself, what do I want to eat? You know what you're actually saying to yourself? Well, what do I feel like eating? Similarly, I wasn't asking myself, should I get up? Subconsciously, I was asking, do I feel like getting up? But you see, we make decisions based on how we feel. It is a subtle difference with a huge impact. And that explains why change is hard. Logically, you know what you should be doing. You do. But it's your feelings about doing it that make your decision for you. Your feelings will make the decision before you even realize what happened. And how you feel in the moment, not aligned with your goals. If you only act when you feel like it, you will never, ever get what you want. Ever. You've got to learn how to separate what you feel from the actions that you take. And the 5-second rule is a remarkable tool in this regard. Let me explain. The moment you feel too tired, you'll decide not to go for a run. But 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Activate your prefrontal cortex, and you can make yourself go for a run. If you don't feel like attacking your to-do list on your desk, you won't. But 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, activate your prefrontal cortex. You can force yourself to start working on it. If you don't learn how to untangle your feelings from your actions, you will never unlock your true potential. It's really that simple. Let me say that again. If you do not learn how to untangle your feelings from your actions, you will never unlock your potential. Here's how feelings keep you from changing. When you stop to consider how you feel, you stop moving toward your goal. Once you hesitate, you'll start thinking about what you need to do. You'll weigh the pros and the cons. You'll consider how you feel about what you need to do, and you'll talk yourself out of doing it. You are not battling your ability to stick to a diet. You are not battling your ability to execute a plan. You are not battling your ability to repair a broken marriage or rebuild your life or hit your sales goals or win over a bad manager. You are battling your feelings about doing it. You are more than capable of doing the work to change anything, despite how you feel. This is really important. You cannot control how you feel, but you can always choose how you act. Have you ever wondered how pro athletes achieve so much? Well, part of it's talent and practice, of course, but there's another key element, and it's a skill that you and I need in our lives. It's the ability to separate our emotions and push our bodies and our mouths and our minds to move. Look, an athlete may feel tired as the football game drags into the fourth quarter, but they don't act tired. Feelings are suggestions, and it's the ones that the greatest athletes ignore. To change, you've got to do the same. You must ignore how you feel, and as Nike would tell you, just do it anyway. We all doubt ourselves. That's the truth. The biggest mistake you could make is to buy into the lies your feelings are telling you. Do not wait until you feel like it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get back to your piano. See, the reason why it is so freeing to use the rule is because you're not only seizing the moment. When you beat your fears, you take ownership of your life. You change no's to yeses. As Wilson and Aristotle said, do good, be good. Change your behavior first, because when you do, you change how you perceive yourself. Look, you can feel like a scaredy cat and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and act brave. Because at the heart of every single moment, there's a choice. 5 seconds at a time, you make a decision to do, say, or pursue what's really important to you. Or you let fear make a decision to silence you. That's why there's such a tight bond between courage and confidence. Every time you face doubt and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and push right past it, you prove to yourself that you're capable. Every time that you beat fear and you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and do it anyway, you display inner strength. And every time you smash your excuses and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and say it anyway, you honor the greatness inside of you that wants to be heard. That's how confidence grows. One small, courageous move at a time. Chapter 6. What are you waiting for? Whatever reason you hold yourself back, you're wrong. It's not safer to stay quiet. It's not better to keep the peace. It's not futile to try. It's not risky. You're wrong. All your excuses and reasons, they are wrong. There is no right time to improve your life. The moment you move, that's when you discover your strength. That's the way to bring the real you to the table, by pushing the real you out of your head and into the world. And the best time to do it? It's right now when your heart is telling you to move. You know, we waste so much of our lives waiting for the right time to have the conversation, ask for the raise, bring it up, or start something. It reminds me of that famous Wayne Gretzky quote, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Here's the thing nobody talks about. You never regret the shots you do take, but you always regret the shots you don't take. Why is life so hard? Life is already hard. I got news for you. Yet you and I, we make it so much harder. We make it harder because we convince ourselves to listen to our fears and to wait, and we hold our greatest selves back. We all do it, not just in bars, not at work, not at home. We do it everywhere, in our relationships, at the gym, everywhere. And I think the question is this: why the hell do we do this? You want to know the answer? The answer actually is brutal. Yeah, you can say, oh, I fear rejection. I feel failure. I'm afraid of looking bad. The reality is we're afraid to even try. You see, it's the fear of sucking, the fear of not being good enough, of feeling like a loser. Nobody wants to face that reality, so we avoid it like the plague. I actually do it with exercise. I can pretend that I'm in decent shape as long as I avoid exercise. You see, the moment I hit the gym, I have to face reality. And the reality is that within 2 minutes of running on a treadmill, I have to go to the bathroom and I am completely out of breath. I am not in great shape at all. I've got a lot of work to do. That's why we dodge challenges. We dodge it to protect our egos. Even if it means eliminating the possibility of what we get, it makes absolutely no sense. What if you're wrong? It's a powerful question. And how often do you consider it? What if you're wrong about all the bullshit you tell yourself? What if you audition and you really are as good as everybody says? What if your idea actually is the next $1 million product on QVC? What if you're not only meant to meet your quota again this year, but you actually surpass it? What if being single isn't nearly as scary as you think, and your true soulmate is just days away from bumping into you at a cocktail party? One that, by the way, you're not attending if you're still with that loser you're dating. Are you really going to let your worries stop you from doing the work or having the love life and being your greatest self? You damn well better not. And even if you do suck, there's another thing you can say to yourself. So what? So what? If you suck, at least you tried. As far as I'm concerned, landing the role is irrelevant. Just like the woman that Tom saw in that bar, she is irrelevant. The only thing that's relevant is you. The power is inside you. The only way you access that power is pushing yourself to try. The greatest you shows up at the audition. The greatest you walks up to that guy or that gal in the bar. The greatest you raises their hand at work and their voice at work. You know what? You're never going to stop yourself from starting to worry, but you can stop yourself from letting those worries drag you into a parade of worries that take control of your mind. You can assert yourself in any moment. You can make a decision. You can push yourself to think about something more empowering. You can step back into the present moment and go for it. And you can do it in 5 seconds flat. You know, we're all guilty. We're all guilty of thinking about getting involved, but not doing it. We're all waiting for the right time to say it, especially at work, right? You gotta wait till your boss is in the right mood. You gotta wait until the right time. It's total stupidity. And you're not alone on this. In a recent survey, 85% of people that work in professional services admitted that they had critical feedback for their boss and they were withholding it. Why? Well, you already know the answer. They're waiting for the right time. The same is true with your kids, by the way, and your spouse and your friends and your colleagues. They've got something important to tell you, and they're waiting until you're in the right mood. All of us, we're all wired this way. One of the most insightful and enlightening aspects of Adam Grant's incredible book, Originals, How Nonconformists Move the World, is when he describes how some of our greatest heroes are just like us in this simple regard. They hesitated, they doubted themselves, and almost missed the opportunities of their lifetimes because they didn't feel ready. I find it reassuring, personally, to know that people that I admire most needed to be pushed through their fears and excuses and feelings, that they were just as loserish at time. I know that's not a word, but it's one that I'm using. Just like I feel, just like you feel. Let me tell you a couple of these examples from Grant's book. You know Michelangelo, the artist who painted the Sistine Chapel in Rome? Here's a backstory you might not know. According to Grant, when the Pope asked Michelangelo to paint the Sistine Chapel in 1506, Michelangelo had never painted a fresco in his life. He felt so overwhelmed with self-doubt that he not only wanted to wait, he fled to Florence. He left town and hid. The Pope had to stalk Michelangelo and pester him for 2 years, push him to get him to paint that chapel. That's right. Want to hear another one? How about one related to Apple? In 1977, when an investor offered Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak funding to launch Apple, Wozniak felt so afraid and uncertain, he wanted to, quote, wait a while before he quit his job. He didn't feel ready, just like you probably don't feel ready for that big thing you're thinking about. Well, Wozniak was pushed. He was pushed by Jobs and multiple friends and his own parents to make the leap. Remember the stories in the last chapter about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. admitting that he would have declined the nomination to lead the Montgomery Improvement Association had he thought it through? Or Rosa Parks' admission that she never thought she would be the one to do such a thing? In the moment, neither one of them stopped to think. They didn't wait to feel ready. That's what we all need to do. We all are capable of greatness. I believe that. You are capable of greatness. It's your feelings and your fears that convince you that now is not the right time. And that's what keeps you from achieving all of the stuff that you dream about and that you deserve to have happen. You know, Grant then writes this line in his book, The Originals, which just makes my heart feel heavy. We can only imagine how many Wozniaks, Michelangelo, and Kings never pursued, publicized, or promoted their original ideas because they weren't dragged or catapulted into the spotlight. Question to ask yourself is this one. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for someone to ask you? Are you waiting to be dragged, picked, or catapulted into the spotlight? Or are you going to find the courage to push yourself? You waiting to feel ready? You waiting for the right time? Waiting to gain confidence? Waiting to feel like it? Waiting to feel worthy? Waiting until you have more experience? You know, sometimes there is no next time, no second chance, no time out. You got to stop waiting. It's now or it's never. When you wait, I got news for you. You're not procrastinating. You're actually doing something way more destructive. You are deliberately, consciously convincing yourself now is not the time. Now is not my time. You are actively working against your dreams. You may think you're protecting yourself from judgment or rejection or upsetting someone or disappointment, but the fact is, when you make excuses and when you talk yourself into waiting, you are limiting your ability to make your dreams come true. You are. Not me, not anybody else. You. I personally, now that I know the 5-second rule, and looking back, I am amazed at how much time I've wasted waiting. Waiting to be sure, waiting for the right time, waiting till my work is perfect, waiting until I feel like it. You may be afraid of finding out that you suck. I totally get it. Totally understand. I've had those moments in my life more than I care to remember or count. But let me tell you what really sucks. What really sucks is being older and regretting that you never went for it. Being 30 and realizing that you let fear of what your friends thought keep you from ever really putting yourself out there when you were younger. Friends, by the way, that you don't even talk to anymore. Or being 56 and realizing you should have divorced your spouse 10 years ago. Or being 45 and wishing you had had the courage to take on a project at work that you now realize would have changed the trajectory of your career. Or sitting in college classes, earning a degree to please your parents, when knowing in your heart that you want to be doing something else with your life. Look, there is no right time. There's only right now. You get one life, and this is it. This is your life. Regardless of what you're dealing with, this is it, and it is not going to begin again. It is up to you to push yourself to make the most of it, and the time to start doing that is right now. Waiting until you are ready is the same as expecting it not to happen. The world rewards those of us who are courageous enough to stop waiting and to start. The world will reward you. That's how you do it. You push yourself to get out of your comfort zone and you begin. There is no other way. You see, the difference between people who make their dreams come true and those of us who don't is just one thing. The courage to start, the courage to keep going. That's why I am so psycho about the 5-second rule. It's a game changer because 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 forces you out of your head and gets you to start, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 will help you keep going. And that, my friend, brings us back to Tom, the guy in the bar at the Hyatt Regency in Chicago. Will he start walking toward the girl across the room? Or in 5 seconds? Will he wait? Well, that depends. It depends on who is making the decision for Tom. Will it be Tom's heart that makes the decision, or will it be his head? Will it be Tom's dreams that win, or will it be his fears? You know, interesting, Rosa Parks offers some amazing advice for moments like this one. Tom needs to do, quote, what must be done. Tom knows in his heart what must be done. He needs to start living again. Waiting, it's not going to help. Waiting will make it worse. Look, you can feel uncertain and be ready. You can be afraid and do it anyway. You can fear rejection and still go for it. 5 seconds of courage changes everything. So back to the bar. Tom starts counting to himself, 5, 4, 3, 2, and by the time he gets to 2, he starts walking across the room. He has no idea what he's going to say to her. His heart is racing, but for the first time in a long time, he doesn't feel numb. He feels alive. The closer he gets to her, the more his heart races. She turns around just as he reaches her, and what happens next is irrelevant. Look, it does not matter what happens because she either becomes his soulmate or she doesn't. The ending of the story, irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the beginning, that Tom made a choice to begin living again. That's how you listen to your heart. Whether you're starting to date again, starting a company, starting a YouTube channel, starting to exercise, you must find the courage to start. Now notice how desperately you want the assurance that Tom gets the girl, right? I mean, it makes for a great movie plot. You're right, it does. But getting the girl isn't the point. Life is not a Nicholas Sparks novel. Life is gritty and hard, and then suddenly it's brilliant and amazing. And besides, did it ever occur to you? The girl could be engaged. She could be gay. She could be a real bitch. Even if she's amazing and they end up having crazy hot sex, or hell, they do get married. The girl is not the source of the power. Tom is. The treasure in your life is buried in you. It is not inside someone else. Tom is the source of power in his life, and you are the source of power in yours. When you unlock that power, when you listen to your instincts and you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and push yourself to honor them, you will discover the most important fact about life. period. Melody wrote me about this. She said, I've used the 5-second rule every single day, multiple times since I learned about it hearing you speak in Dallas. It has helped me clear out negative thoughts. It has helped me reach out to people and start conversations I might not initiate otherwise. It has brought my inner true self out loud. And that has been the most important gift of all, to be me and show my daughter how to do it too. Everybody brings something new and original to the world that we live in, that it is inside each and every one of us, this greatness. But look, the way that you activate the power of you is by finding the courage you need to push yourself forward. When you listen to your instincts like I had to, get up, Mel. Suck it up, Tom. Take care of your nephews, Catherine. Don't give up your seat, Rosa. It is clear when you tune into your instincts what you need to do. There is zero debate, zero, when you follow what's inside your heart. The only thing that will quiet the chatter in your head is a decision to move. As I have said from the very beginning of this book, you are one decision away from a completely different life. We're all so afraid of uncertainties that we want to guarantee before we even try, don't we? You want evidence. Hey, if I take the risk, am I going to get the girl? Even if Tom does get the girl, would that make you feel better in this story? Oh, Tom gets the girl. Woo! That's not proof that you're going to. Getting the girl, getting the guy, it's a numbers game. To play any game, you have to start. To win, you got to keep rolling the dice, man. If you want to make your dreams come true, you better get ready for the long game. Life is not a one and done sort of deal. You're going to have to work for what you want. What's amazing about the rule is it makes the work simple. You're the one, just like I was the one, that was making things hard. This is true for everybody. To be successful, it takes repetition. You know the game Angry Birds? Rovio, the brand that created that game? Do you realize they've launched 51 unsuccessful games before they even developed Angry Birds? How about the Avengers star, Mark Ruffalo? Do you know how many auditions he did before he landed his very first role? Just think for a second. Okay, how many auditions do you think he did? 50? 100? 600 rejections. That guy is dedicated. He deserves every single thing that he has. Even Babe Ruth struck out more than 1,300 times. My favorite vacuum cleaner personally is a Dyson. There's no wonder why a Dyson doesn't suck at sucking up the dirt. James Dyson created 5,127 prototypes. What? And here's one that's going to blow your mind. We all know Picasso, right? Picasso is one of the more prolific geniuses. He created nearly 100 masterpieces in his lifetime. But what most people don't ever realize or stop to think about is that over his lifetime, he created 50,000 works of art. 50,000. Did you hear that? 50,000. That's 2 pieces of art a day for just 100 masterpieces. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? When you think about it, success is a numbers game, and you're not going to win if you keep telling yourself to wait. The more often that you choose courage, the more likely you'll succeed at getting what you want. When you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push yourself forward, that's the moment that you discover the magic in your life. And you also open yourself up to the world, to opportunity, and to possibility. Now look, you might not get the girl. You might not get the part. You might not get the response you wanted, but that's not the point. In the end, you're going to get something way cooler. You're going to discover the power inside you. Part 5. Courage changes everything. It's now or it's never. So whatever it is that your brain is going to tell you the moment you hesitate, it's bullshit. You need to move now or else you're going to lose the moment. The moment your instincts fire up, what's going to happen? Your brain's going to get involved. It would be out of place. He starts thinking, and then he caught himself. That's all you need to do. The moment you catch yourself hesitating, the moment you catch yourself starting to talk yourself out of something, that's a moment of power. Start counting, assert yourself, lean into what you want to do and pull away from the things that are the excuses in your head. He went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You see, there's a power in making decisions. The power is within you, period. What if I told you that nothing about your life or personality is fixed or comes naturally anyway? Nothing comes naturally until you practice it. That's why I keep saying you must practice acts of everyday courage. You see, you have the ability to improve, change, or enrich every single aspect of your life through action. Stop focusing on the big things, because when you focus on the big stuff, you actually miss the important things. They're really little. All you need to do is use 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go on the smallest stuff. And you will see that these moments are not so small at all. Daily courageous actions, the stuff that you said you would do, the stuff that in your heart you want to do, and focusing on priorities, they create a ripple effect that change your life. These are little steps, but the payoff is everything that you want. Confidence, control, and a sense of pride in yourself that feels damn good. Chapter 14, Beat Fear. I'm telling you right now, you can change how you think. You can take control of your mind. The moment that you notice that your mind is drifting to a thought that does not serve you, that does not empower you, that is negative, that beats you down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are one decision away, literally, from a totally different life, from a totally different attitude. You can, and using this rule, you will rewire your mind. Chapter 13. End anxiety. Anxiety is what happens when your habit of worrying spirals out of control. The key to beating anxiety is understanding it. If you can catch it right as it kicks in and reframe it, you'll stabilize your thoughts before your mind escalates it into a full-blown panic. And over time, as you use the 5-second rule over and over, your anxiety will weaken and become what it started out as, simple worries. And as you just learned, the habit of worry is easy to break. See, when you're worried about something, your thoughts have drifted, but your heart isn't racing yet. So your thoughts drift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, awaken your prefrontal cortex. Your mind is now ready to receive a new thought, insert a new thought. That's how you control worry. That's how you change your attitude. That's how you create a new mindset. Very straightforward. So the next time that you feel yourself getting worried, or you feel nervousness, or panic starting to set in while you're making a cup of coffee, or you're experiencing a little bit of stage fright or pre-game jitters, or you're worried about a big exam or a job interview, I want you to try this. Use the 5-second rule and this new research to beat it to the punch. As soon as you feel the physical sensations start to tick up, you get that feeling in your stomach, you feel your heart start to rate, you start heasing a little bit. That's a moment. I want you to take control. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to seize the moment. Then I want you to start telling yourself, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to play this game. I'm so excited to make this cup of coffee. I'm so excited to be on this plane. I'm so excited to take this test. And that's the power of this tool. It truly works. Next, we're going to turn to part 4 of the book and how courage changes your mind. About 4 years ago, I started to wonder if I could use the 5-second rule to change more than my physical behavior. I wondered if I could change my thoughts. I'd seen the effects it had on other habits, so why not try to break the mental habit of anxiety, panic, and fear? I mean, they're patterns, just like nail biting or any other habit, just patterns that you repeat. They're just habits. So I started using the rule to change the way that my mind worked. I began by using the rule to break the habit of worrying. As I mastered that skill, I used the rule to control my anxiety and beat my fear of flying. That worked too. As I write this sentence, I can tell you, I've cured myself of anxiety. I haven't taken Zoloft in years, and I'm panic attack free. I no longer have a habit of worrying, and my fear of flying, gone. Learning to take control of my mind, direct my thoughts, and dismantle fear has been the single greatest thing I have ever done to improve the quality of my life. I almost never feel worried. And the rare times that I do, I just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I direct my mind toward the solutions rather than worrying about the problems. I've transformed my mind using the rule, and I'm the happiest and most optimistic that I've ever been. And I think that's because my mind is working for me instead of constantly working against me. Now it's your turn. How to learn the rule to do this remarkable mental transformation. Chapter 12. Stop worrying. More than any other change, ending your habit of worrying will create the single biggest positive impact in your life. Believe it or not, you were taught to worry. As a kid, you heard your parents worrying constantly. Hey, be careful. Wear a hat or you'll catch a cold. Don't slip on the ice. Don't sit so close to the TV. As adults, we spend way too much time and energy worrying about things that we can't control or that could go wrong. And when you get to be near the end of your life, you'll wish you hadn't. Dr. Carl Pillemer is a professor of human development at Cornell University, and he's also the founder of something called the Legacy Project. You can Google it. He's met with more than 1,200 senior citizens that are living in nursing homes for one reason. He wanted to discuss the meaning of life. Now, in the middle of doing the project, he was shocked to learn that most people near the end of their lives had the exact same regret. The exact same one. I wish I hadn't spent so much of my lifetime worrying. Their advice was devastatingly simple and direct. Worrying is an enormous waste of your precious and limited lifetime. Now here's what's exciting. You can stop worrying, and the 5-second rule will teach you how. You see, worrying is a default setting that your mind goes to when you aren't paying attention. The key is catching yourself when you drift into worry and then regaining mental control by using the rule. I'm going to give you an example because it happens all day long to you. My husband recently got his motorcycle license and he just bought a small used motorcycle. Yesterday, I was sitting inside the house and I noticed him on the bike pulling out of the driveway. As he drove down the road, I noticed my mind immediately drifted into worry. I started to wonder whether or not he would get hit by a car. I wondered if he would become a statistic. And I started worrying that, I'm going to get a phone call from the police telling me he's been in an accident. The worry, it literally hijacked my mind within 5 seconds. It was that fast. And you know what? My worrying, it's not going to keep him safe, and it certainly is not going to prevent an accident. I was standing in our house, and he was out on the bike. What happens with worry is that the worrying kills me. It doesn't kill Chris. You know, as one 83-year-old in the study said, my worrying's not going to solve a thing. It just put me on edge for the entire time that Chris was out riding his motorcycle. And you know what that does? It doesn't protect him. It robs me of enjoying my life. Now, as soon as I catch myself worrying, I now use the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I force myself to think about something more positive, like the thought of him smiling as he drives down the road. Now, the thing, though, is that worrying takes over when you're not even paying attention. But every time I caught myself drifting to a bad thought, I would say to myself, not doing that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I would point to a thought that would make me smile. And the one that I kept picking is them walking into the house, dropping their luggage, talking 1,000,000 miles an hour, all about their trip. So my mind would drift to a plane crash. I'd go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'd think about them in the kitchen. My mind would drift to one of them falling off a cliff in the Andes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And my mind would go to them talking in the kitchen. Because here's the thing. If they're standing in the kitchen telling me about the trip, they obviously made it home, didn't they? And that thought then teaches my mind to think about something that's positive instead of hijacking me with some silly worry. Now, another thing that surprised me about worry is just how subtle it is and how fast it can seize control of you. And I've also been surprised by how often I start to worry the moment that I feel happiness or love. This spring, it happened to me as I was looking at our 17-year-old daughter. You know, I had this incredible moment where my heart just leapt out of my chest. And I felt this tidal wave of love wash over me. And then suddenly, without any warning, all these worries just came galloping into my mind and they stole the moment. And all I felt wasn't love anymore. It was fear. This is what happened. We were at the mall and Sawyer was trying on dresses for her high school prom. And you know what? Worry. It robbed me. It robbed me of joy in that moment. Like it took me away from Sawyer. It took me to this really dark place in my head. So instead of just being present and in awe of my beautiful daughter, all I felt was fear. Yeah, that's how worry and fear hijack your mind. They rob you of the magic and the wonder in your life. They steal you away from the moment. See, here's what I believe. When your mind takes you somewhere sad, dark, doubtful, or negative, you don't have to go with it. Your mind can drift to worry. You don't have to drift there. When you find your inner voice becoming the enemy, as Hein did and as I experienced, it's important to stop worrying and recognize that in 5 seconds, worry can hijack you, but in 5 seconds, you can hijack yourself back. In 5 seconds, worry can steal your thoughts, but in 5 seconds, you can make a decision to not go with it. That's exactly what I did. I could feel how quickly this fear took over. So I started counting 5, 4, 3. And as I counted, I could feel, and this is going to happen to you. I could feel the fear lowering in my body. As you use this, you're going to feel how worry, as it has your thoughts to worry, they drift. You're going to feel your mind move literally from the thoughts that you're thinking. You're going to feel it drift to the basal ganglia. You're going to feel your mind switching gears as you start to worry. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to yank yourself out of your head and you're going to plant yourself back in the present moment. I started counting and it switched the gears from worry about how quickly my life is going to the present. Because I'm going to tell you something. I was not going to let my brain and my habit of worrying, not going to let it rob me of this experience with my daughter. Chapter 11. End procrastination. The 5-second rule is an incredible weapon in the fight against procrastination. Before we dig into how you're going to use it, I'd like to define procrastination, what it is and what it isn't. There are two kinds of procrastination. There's destructive procrastination, which is when you and I avoid the tasks that we need to complete. And then there's productive procrastination, which is a critical part of any creative process. The other kind of procrastination is the one that you and I want to understand and then eviscerate. And that is destructive procrastination. It's an entirely different animal. It's when you're avoiding things that need to get done. And you know that there is going to be negative consequences. And this can really come back to bite you in the end. Now, I don't think there's a human being on the planet that doesn't have a pile of stuff that you're procrastinating on. Updating photo albums, analyzing spreadsheets, finishing a proposal, maybe cleaning out dad's house, plowing through a to-do list. It's anything. You can procrastinate on anything, raking the front yard. And, it can really start to eat at you. Procrastination is not a form of laziness. Did you know that? Not a form of laziness. Procrastination actually has nothing to do with work. Procrastination is a coping mechanism for stress. So Dr. Pitchell has found that the main thing that drives procrastination is not your desire to avoid work. It's avoiding stress. Procrastination is nothing more than a subconscious desire to feel good right now so that you can feel a little bit of stress release. A common mistake that we all make is thinking that people make a deliberate decision to procrastinate. Like, oh, I'm just going to blow that off. In fact, most folks who struggle with procrastination tell researchers that they feel like they have zero control over it. And they're right, because most of us don't understand the real reason why we procrastinate. So you're not procrastinating because you hate work. You're procrastinating because you feel stressed. That's right. Let me say that again. You don't procrastinate because you hate work. You procrastinate because you feel stressed out. And here's the catch. You're not stressed about work. When you blow off work or you blow off studying for 15 minutes of online shopping or watching the highlights of last night's football game, you know what you're doing? You're not avoiding work so much as you're taking a mini stress break from the bigger stresses you feel overall. It's sort of like emotional eating for the mind. When you avoid something that feels hard, you get a little sense of relief. And then when you throw in something that you like surfing Facebook or laughing at a viral video, you also get a little boost of dopamine. And the more often you procrastinate, the more likely you're going to repeat the behavior. And here's the problem. While you get a little boost of relief when you watch a cat video, over time, the work that you keep blowing off, it starts to build. And guess what that creates? More stress. And when you feel more stressed, what do? You procrastinate. There's a great example that Scott provides. He wrote to me because he wanted to, quote, get help getting out of his own head. And that's a huge theme in this book. We spend way too much time thinking and not enough time getting out of our heads and into action. He said that everyone close to him had always said, I'm the one thing that's holding me back. And they're right. So Scott is a PhD student and he's performing research in a physiology lab and he's married and he and his wife just had their first kid and he describes him as the most beautiful baby boy. Well, let me read more of the email that Scott wrote to me. Mel, everything at home is incredible despite lots of financial stress, which would be expected considering that I'm in school. My issue is that in my daily life and branching into school and lab work, I have trouble fulfilling obligations, which is starting to become a problem. Basically, I put off things continuously until it reaches the point where I've either missed a deadline or it upsets somebody. I have very high expectations for myself, and I literally go to sleep every night telling myself that tomorrow is going to be that fresh start that I need, and I'm going to tackle everything with tons of energy. But then I fail day after day, and that confidence in overcoming this by myself is starting to fade. Basically, I don't feel like I'm living anywhere near my full potential, and it's frustrating. Now, reading Scott's note, you can see that he's trapped. He's trapped in a vicious cycle of feeling disappointed in himself. And boy, I can totally relate to him because I felt that exact same way as I was struggling just to get myself out of bed. Now, here's the other thing. Scott knows exactly what he needs to do, doesn't he? He's got to attack the work and get it done. But he can't seem to make himself do it. Luckily, there's a 3-step simple way to cure yourself of procrastinating. And the 5-second rule will help you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step 1 to stopping the cycle of procrastinating. You got to take a second. You got to take a beat. You got to forgive yourself. This is not based on something that I think is a very kumbaya kind of the universe is telling you. This is based on years and years of research. The first step to curing yourself of the habit of procrastinating is forgiving yourself. It sounds like a silly thing to do, but the problem that psychologists have uncovered about you and me when we procrastinate is that we're really hard on ourselves. Trish found that after she was able to forgive herself, it changed her life. She wrote, the 5-second rule, it will change your life. You won't feel sorry for yourself anymore like I used to. You'll reach your goals, live your dreams. That's right, because instead of beating yourself up, if you take a beat to forgive yourself, you will absolutely be able to stop the cycle. Another perfect example is our PhD student in the lab, Scott. Remember what he wrote? He said he, quote, had very high expectations for himself. Every time he procrastinates, you know what he feels? Guilty. Feels a little shame. Those negative feelings create even more stress. And why is it that we procrastinate? Because we feel stressed. So we avoid things that are hard so that we can feel a little bit of ease in the moment. Those negative feelings of guilt and shame, you know what Scott says? His confidence in overcoming this by himself is starting to fade, which actually makes him feel even more stressed out. See, this is why procrastination is such a trap that you find yourself in. So let's apply the advice to Scott, okay? Step number 1. Scott needs to stop the cycle by forgiving himself. Forgive himself for upsetting people, for falling behind, for not working to his full potential. Step number 2, you're going to ask yourself after you forgive yourself, all right, what would the future me do? You're going to time travel. Now, what research proves is that when you can picture the person that you want to be in the future, it gives you the objectivity to push yourself in the present moment. In experiments, when researchers, for example, show you and me pictures of ourselves old, so they show me a picture when I'm 70 and they show you a picture when you're 70, guess what? You are more likely to save for retirement because you can visualize, oh my gosh, dude, retirement, it's coming at me. I can see it. You're not just thinking about it. You're now looking at the future you. And, you know, that's also an explanation for why vision boards work. People tell you all the time to create a vision board. I certainly believe in them. The reason why is it helps you visualize not being in this moment. It helps you visualize being ahead of where you are. And so you can use the version of yourself in the future you, in order to help you get through this moment. Now that gets us to number 3. So number 1, got to forgive yourself because you're just stressed out. Number 2, remind yourself in the future, this thing you're worried about, not going to be a big deal. Give yourself a push from the future. Number 3, just get started, please. That's all you need to do. You don't have to complete it. Don't worry about finishing it. Just get started. You know, one of the most powerful ways to create new habits, according to researchers, is to create a starting ritual. There's no better starting ritual on the planet than the 5-second rule. Procrastinating is a habit. So in order to get rid of a bad habit, you have to replace the bad behavior, which is avoiding work, with a new positive one, which is getting started on work, right? Makes a lot of sense. Just replacing behavior pattern. Second, the moment you feel yourself hesitate, you're going to what? Feel like doing something easier. You're going to avoid the hard work. So what are you going to do? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to interrupt that habit. You're going to awaken the prefrontal cortex and you're going to push yourself to start the important thing that you need to do. Finally, getting started takes us back to that concept of a locus of control. Procrastination makes you feel like you have no self-control. Right? When you struggle with procrastination, you just can't seem to get yourself to focus on it. You feel and you have lost control over yourself. However, when you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and assert yourself and you just get started just for 5 minutes. I'm not asking you to finish it. I'm not asking you to spend it. Just get started. Please. You are taking control of the moment and you are taking control of your life. And the truth is, it's true. If you just get started, if you just push yourself, if you understand procrastination, which you do now, it's just stress. You procrastinate because you're stressed. So give yourself a friggin' break. Remind yourself that in the future, you're not going to care about this moment and then get started. That's it. The rule is going to make it easier for you to just get going. It's going to make it easy for you to interrupt when you get off track. So in sum, here's how you can most effectively use the 5-second rule to beat procrastination. Use it to make yourself start. Start small. Attack what you've been avoiding for just 15 minutes at a time. Then give yourself a break. Watch a few cat videos. And for crying out loud, could you please stop beating yourself up for blowing things off? You're only human. All this stuff, it's common sense. I know. But my hope is that when you understand the science behind it, you hear that there's research that supports why these simple steps work, that you will feel empowered to apply them in your life. What you're learning over and over in this book, and what I learned over the last 7 years using the rule, is that unless you beat the feelings, the stresses that trigger your bad habits, and you learn how to push yourself to just get started, you're never going to change. But the good news is, if you do stop listening to your feelings, you've got everything you need to make any change you want. Chapter 17, Enrich Your Relationships. There are only 2 words of advice you need to improve any relationship. Say it. Leave nothing important unsaid. You see, intimacy, connection, it takes courage. Risking getting emotional or upsetting someone so that you can express yourself is scary, but the result is nothing short of magic. Waiting for the right time to get real in your relationships, it's a fool's errand. There is no right time to have the conversation, to ask the hard questions, to say, I love you, or take the time to truly listen. There's only right now. Sometimes it's not merely a hard question that you need to ask. It's actually ending the silence between you and somebody. The truth is the shortest distance between 2 people, and it may very well save your relationship. Silence creates distance. Truth creates connection. We often fail to appreciate the profound power that's held inside the smallest moments of our relationships as the days race by. Leave nothing important unsaid. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and say it. Chapter 16, Pursuing Passion. At the end of his journey, the man realizes the treasure was within him the entire time. 41 and desperate? I got chills when I read that line. That's how old I was when I discovered the 5-second rule, and that's exactly how I felt. What I've come to realize is there is no expiration date on discovering and expressing the treasure that's inside of you. As Coelho wrote in the foreword, it starts with a belief in yourself, and that belief is grounded in the courage to push yourself. He continued to write in that foreword, I was following my personal legend, and my treasure was my capacity to write, and I wanted to share this treasure with the world. I started knocking on the doors of other publishers. One opened, and the publisher on the other side believed in me and my book and agreed to give The Alchemist a second chance. Slowly, through word of mouth, it finally started to sell. 3,000, then 6,000, 10,000, book by book, gradually, throughout the year. Well, that book became an organic phenomenon, and the rest is now history. It's one of the best-selling books of all time. It's considered one of the 10 best books of the 20th century. When interviewers asked Coelho whether or not he knew it would be a success, this is what he had to say. The answer is no. I had no idea. How could I? When I sat down to write The Alchemist, all I knew is that I wanted to write about my soul. I wanted to write about my quest to find my treasure. You see, the answers are inside of you, if you have the courage to listen. You are like some other people and like no other person. You have something remarkable to share with the world. It starts with listening to what's inside of you and ends with the courage to go where it leads.